Hey gang, it is your old buddy Clay hanging out here at Mountain Music Exchange. Thank you guys a ton for hanging out with us. Today we are going to talk about this mega awesome broadcaster, the new 70th anniversary limited run broadcaster. These are they're different, but they're not different, but they're just different enough. They're limited to 2020 only. So I don't think they gave us a specific number of how many we're going to get made. If you know that and I don't, please let us know in the comments below. But for 2020 will be the only model year that they create these. And they're really cool. The first thing you notice when you grab one of these is this has this massive, sort of big neck. And it just feels really good. It's a U-shaped neck, and it just feels like a brute, like it really has sort of a 50s feel and vibe to it. And it's also all lacquer nitro finished, which you can feel both on the neck. So, you know, if that's a detriment to you, just heads up. You know, it is a cool finished neck, but it might get a little, you know, some people prefer a little bit more fast, like a satin finish or something like that. But this is very vintage spec, and I like it. Vintage style tuners, of course. And this finish is Blackguard Blonde. It's a little lighter than some of the other blondes I've seen. We'll actually probably throw up a blonde Telecaster just to kind of give you a point of reference in this video to kind of show you the difference between this blonde and then some like a Ventera blonde or a 52 Telly blonde. I feel like you can see more wood grain here than you can in some of the other stuff. Ash body. I think it's an ash body. If it's not, let me know. It's either ash or maybe pine. No, it's got to be ash, right? Surely. This has got a cool phenolic pick guard. The thing I like about this, I think is neat, is just it doesn't, from a distance, from any distance, probably from where you're seeing me from, this just looks like a standard 1-ply black pick guard. But it's got like a rounded off or sort of sharp, I don't know, it's different. It feels cool. I like it. It's not exactly the same, but it is pretty close. Knurled knobs, three saddle pick guard, brass saddles, limited Fender 70th anniversary broadcaster neck plate. This guitar is equipped with original 50 to 51 Blackguard pickups. These are designed in the custom shop. Now when you say designed in the custom shop, sometimes that makes you think, well, they're designed there, but then they're not, you know, of a certain caliber. These are hand wound pickups. So they are pretty high caliber. They've got a good snarl, a good bite. They're not so high output that it's piercing to your ears. They've just got a good vintage, like, twang to them. But if you throw some dirt on them too, they bite really well. It just digs in good. It's a good guitar to kind of dig in with. So that's kind of neat. This comes with a bunch of cool stuff, and we'll get with that here in just a second and kind of show you. One thing I want to talk about real quick though. So this comes wired with a standard Telecaster 3-way switch wiring, which is cool. If you don't have a Telecaster, you know, that wiring is fine to kind of hold on to kind of keep. But it also comes with wiring like that. It's the old broadcaster blend circuit. I'm sure you've seen probably like some other companies come out with you know, that type of circuit if you want to install it in your existing Telecaster, for example. But this comes with it as an option. So you can actually take all of this wiring out and put in the blend circuit wiring. And if you're not familiar with the blend circuit, I actually wasn't terribly familiar with the blend circuit before I did some research on it. And it's kind of cool. So if you're in the neck position, you're going to engage like a filter cap. It's going to have a real kind of dark sound. The tone knob will do nothing. It does absolutely nothing in that position because you have that tone filter cap that just sort of acts as a catch-all for frequencies, okay? So then in the middle, it's the neck, but with no tone knob or cap. So it's just a completely unfiltered neck pickup, when you're in the middle position, only your volume works. Again, this knob, your tone knob, does not work at all. So then if you go down to the bridge, I think that's where the coolest, like the meat and potatoes of this circuit is really. If you go down to the bridge, then you can sort of add in neck pickup and bridge pickup combinations. So it'll have your bridge pickup fully fired up, and then with your tone knob, you add in a little bit, you know, depending on how much you want, of the neck circuit, which is kind of cool. It's different, and I can appreciate that. You'll see behind me here, and I think we're going to get a better shot of it too. This comes in a really, really nice Fender 70th anniversary Broadcaster tweed case. The interior is gorgeous. It is G&G, and it is pure quality all the way through. It is one of those cases where you were going to want to keep the guitar and the case together if you were interested in collectability or anything like that at all. I don't really know if I need to get deep into this, but the reason it's Broadcaster, not Telecaster, in case anybody doesn't know, there was the history in like 50-51 of the Broadcaster, but Gretsch were using Broadcaster as a drum set name, sued Fender. Fender didn't want to have any part of dealing with any of that, so they actually took the name off, so it just said Fender, and those were kind of nicknamed the No-Caster. And then, you know, that's when the Telecaster name came about, was from the loss of being able to use the Broadcaster name on a guitar. Of course, we all know now, like, of the ownership or symbiotic relationship or whatever it is between Fender and Gretsch, so I think that's water pretty far under the bridge. Thus, they're able to bring back this cool Broadcaster name to revisit the history of that guitar a little bit. So I want to talk a little bit now about some of the things that come with this guitar. It comes with a lot of cool stuff, so let's check that out real quick. First of all, I mentioned earlier it comes with the circuit. It also comes with this cool vintage style strap, leather. And it seems like, I don't know what strap would or wouldn't have come with one then, but that seems like a strap you would buy back then, and I think that's pretty cool. You also get, of course, the ashtray, which is a must for a vintage style Telecaster. You also get a really cool vintage style cable. Look at that. Like, that really does sort of give me a, and correct me if I'm wrong if this is not error correct or something, it may not be, but it definitely has a vintage vibe to it. All of it does. And again, feel free to correct me in the comments below if I'm off on some of this stuff. I'm sure that I am. And then, of course, some of your paperwork, cool Fender sticker. You also get sort of the warranty registration, as well as the certificate of authenticity for this particular guitar with this particular number. So that's pretty cool. And let's see, what else do we have? Oh, in case I didn't mention it earlier, I think I did though, lacquer finish, precaution, and care guide. So that's kind of neat. And of course, Telecaster electronic parts kit. That's probably where you're going to be looking at that circuit. And in case you're curious, you also get a wiring diagram for the vintage blend wiring and modern wiring. So that's definitely pretty neat. Overall, if I'm going to come to a verdict on this guitar, I think it's going to be that at $19.99, if you were going to be in the market this year, if you had the money, if it's tax time or whatever, and you're going to look at maybe an American original or something that's already in this price range, I don't see any reason not to go with this one unless you just A, hate the neck, or B, you're just dead set on sort of a double bound 60s era Telecaster with a rosewood fretboard and this is just not your flavor. But it's limited, it's collectible, it's still nitro, it has a super cool case, it comes with a bunch of cool stuff, and it's just a cool telly. And I would even take it and throw in the blend circuit just because it's a little bit different than your standard Telecaster fare. Of course, you know, especially if I were collecting, I would keep the original wiring and circuitry and all that, but I would keep this guitar, you know, and use it sort of in that old broadcaster style where it's sort of a mix between a Telecaster and an Esquire circuit. This is the one to get this year. If you're in that price category for a Telecaster guitar, I really think this is the one to get, just because it's unique enough, yet similar enough to the other Telecasters you've seen that it kind of checks a lot of the boxes off and has that extra collectability factor on it too. So yeah, I dig it. I hope you dig it. Let us know in the comments below what you guys think about the new 2020 70th anniversary broadcaster. Guys, as always, thank you all for watching and hanging out here at Mountain Music Exchange. If you like us, click like and subscribe if you do. And if not, tell us why in the comments below. So guys, thank you all a ton. For Mountain Music Exchange, I'm Clay. You rock. Have a good one.